I got this slideshow. I'll just so students, how is the weather in Mumbai? How do you feel the weather is? Is it very hot or is it humid?
Very hot.
Very hot. What about Delhi now? Some of you must have come from Baroda. How is the weather in Delhi? Is it? Pollution is there. Okay. So Bombay is not polluted, you mean to say. Okay, so directly you have come to Ansha to tell us you're not aware whether the Bombay is polluted or not, right? Very good. Okay, now why I'm asking you this question, how do you can sense the change in the temperature when you enter Mumbai? No, it was same as in our the place block, Anand block. It was same there also.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that means it is very hot and sultry kind of weather. Okay. What is the reason for this? What is the reason for this hot and sultry weather?
Due to change in climatic conditions.
Yes, it is because of the change in the climatic conditions. And what is the reason for this change in climatic conditions? Deforestation. Okay, very good. The deforestation is the reason. It is one of the reasons for the climatic conditions, and because of that, the temperature has raised. Okay. Now I remember, like when I came to Mumbai, at that time, Bombay's weather, like most of the people, they say that during throughout the year, only few months they used to switch on the fans. Otherwise, there was no need to use the fans. Can you just imagine how the weather would have been earlier? Okay, but now we cannot live without AC. So can you just see the transition? Okay? Okay, fine. Now let us start this topic, sir. What is this? Earth. What kind of earth you find here? Dry? Okay. And another earth picture I'm showing you. What kind of earth? It is a green earth. Okay. So what kind of earth would you like to live in? The one which is greener. Okay. And the main reason for this reduction in greenery is because of the deforestation, as he has told. There is deforestation that has taken place, right? But you know that when Earth formation had taken place, or when Earth had came into existence, how the temperature was on the Earth? It was very high. And how this got reduced? How the temperature got reduced? Yes, because of the cooling effect, right? And how the cooling effect was there? It was because of the rainfall, right? So there were continuous rain which were occurring on the earth, and because of that, what happened? The temperature it reduced, right? And there came into existence various, you can say, the compounds, the molecules, and that has resulted into formation of the special type of organisms that is responsible for the cooling, more cooling effect on the earth, and that is also responsible for the existence, or you can say the formation of the most important atmospheric gas, and that is oxygen. And these are the lungs. Okay. So today we are going to use the change. This is the topic that we are going to study today. Plant life. That is the kingdom planting. Right. The next slide. Okay. Now this is the evolutionary history that you can see here, children. Now there is evidence that these cyanobacteria, you know what cyanobacteria is? Yes, what is it? Blue green algae. Blue green algae. Why is it called as blue green algae? Is it algae? What is it then? Yes, cyanobacteria is actually a bacteria, a type of bacteria which is having the pigment that is called as chlorophyll. Okay, and because of this chlorophyll only, the photosynthesis is possible, right? And this chlorophyll came into, or you can say the formation of this chlorophyll has taken place not only in the plants. There is a similar type of, you can say the molecule, which was present in the bacterial cell. Right? And these bacteria, they were able to photosynthesize. So they are categorized as the photosynthetic bacteria. Right? And after that, the cyanobacteria came into existence and then the plants. Right? So where the life originated first? Water, very good. The water is considered to be the universal solvent, right? And life came into existence initially in water, right? And cyanobacteria, that is actually known as, earlier we had kept this bacteria in the group of algae. And that is why the name is given to it as the blue-green algae. Right? So it existed in water. So the life originated in water. So where do you think the earlier plants would be? Obviously in water, right? So that is why if you see this is actually the various eras, that is the Paleozoic, Mesozoic and the Cenozoic, and the various periods which are given here, if it is going in the ascending order. Okay, that is the earlier the life came into existence in billions of years ago. Okay, and after that many changes have taken place, and that has resulted into the various life forms of the plant. The first one they are considered to be the algae, which are completely aquatic in nature. Right? The next one, if you see the bryophytes, they are the second category of the kingdom plantae, and they are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. You know what plant amphibians are? Yes, what are they? Very good. The amphibians are the organisms which can exist on land as well as water. But what about these plants? Can they move from water to land?
No.
Then why are they called as amphibians of the plant kingdom? Yes? They are found in both water and land. Okay, any other answer for this? Okay, let's start. Then you will gradually come to know why they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. The third one, it is the pteridophytes. Okay, so they are the seedless plasmid. So you can see that in which particular era they have come to existence. So you can see that the arrows going down. That means their evolution has taken place before the Ordovician period. Okay, and its existence has come during the Ordovician period, and these are the pteridophytes here in the Devonian period. Is that clear? And then we have the gymnosperms, that is in the Permian period, then the conifers in the Devonian, and these are all the gymnosperms. Okay, and that is the one that is the angiosperm that came into existence in the Cretaceous period. Right? Now the most dominant plants in the world are, which are the most dominant plants in the world? Yes? I can't hear you. Can you be louder? The most dominant species of plants on the earth. Yes. The flowering plants, the angiosperms. You can see that these angiosperms, they came into existence during the Cretaceous period. Is that clear? Now you can see that how the evolution has taken place, and now we are going to study about each and every division here. Fine. Now let us go to the next. This is the outline, you can say the classification of the kingdom plant. You can see that the kingdom plant may have been classified into two important groups. The first one it is called as the cryptogamy, and the second one is called as the phenerogamy. Right? Now cryptogamy, it means cryptos. Cryptos, it means that they are the spore producing organisms. Right? And phenerogams are the ones which are the seed producing organisms. Under the cryptogams, how many groups can you see? Three. Very good. The first one is?
Thallophyte.
The second one?
Bryophyte.
The third one? Very good. And under the phenerogams? Very good. Now, under this cryptogamy, if we see, there is another flowchart that I have taken. The cryptogams, they are thallophytes where the plant body is not well differentiated. They have the plant body, but it is not well differentiated. Okay. Now the next one is the cryptogamous, which are basically the organisms which are having certain, you can say, the structures which can be parallel to the leaves or the shoots, you can say, and the roots. Is that clear? And the third category of the plant, that is the vascular tissue is present. You know what the vascular tissue is?
Xylem.
Very good. The xylem and the fluid. So what is similar to that in your body? Not similar, parallel to that in your body. Very good. The veins and the arteries. So here we have the vascular tissue that came into existence, and that too it was present in the pteridophytes as well as the heterogams. That means one cryptogamous group and the heterogamous group. Am I clear? Okay. So the cryptogamous, it means the spore producing, we have three categories. Okay. And the seed producing, we have two categories. But here under the cryptogamous also we have one category that is having a vascular tissue. Okay. That means the xylem and the phloem, they are present and they are basically meant for conducting the food, nutrients and water. Right? And this is somewhat which is also seen in the high group of plants, which are the gymnosperms and the angiosperms, which are basically the seed producing plants. Right? So you can see that how evolution has taken place. Okay, it is taking place gradually. All these plants did not came into existence all of a sudden. Okay, there are certain changes which kept on accumulating, and that has resulted in the formation of these different groups. Am I clear? Okay. Now, in the seed producing also, you can see the gymnosperm. Gymnos, it means the naked. That means the seeds are born, but they are not having any covering for it. Okay. Which fruit is the favorite food of yours? Mango. Very good. Mango. Yes. Mango. Yes. So mango is the king of fruits. Have you seen that it consists of certain things which is present inside at the center? What is that? Seed. So the seed is protecting the mango.
Pulp.
Yes. The pulp. That means the seed is covered here. So that is why they are coming under the category that is the angiosperms. Right? So gymnosperms are the plants which are not having any covering for the seed. They are born naked, and whereas the angiosperms are the plants which are having the seed that is covered with the fruit. Is that clear? So next. Now these are the characteristic features of the plant. Now you know that the plants can prepare food. That is why they are called as autotrophs. Very good. These are multicellular eukaryotes. Multicellular. What do you mean by multicellular?
That is made up of more than one cell.
Very good. And eukaryotes?
Only single.
Nucleus. U means true. Very good. And karyon means nucleus. Correct.
They have well-defined
So it is
nucleus.
true nucleus. Well-defined nucleus. So how would you say a nucleus is well-defined?
It has a
It
nuclear
has a
membrane.
Boundary around.
nuclear membrane. It has a
It has a
structured
nuclear
nuclear
membrane.
membrane.
It has a structured nuclear membrane. Around
Nucleus.
the genetic material. Okay, it is around the genetic material, and that genetic material is the chromatin. Okay, the genetic material is in the form of chromatin, which is not only the DNA, but it is also having the proteins, and they are surrounded by a membrane. Right, that is the nuclear membrane. And then you say, yes, it is a nucleus. But if this particular content, that is the chromatin, it is suspended in the cytoplasm of the cell, we don't say it is a nucleus. Okay,
It is a nucleus.
then we call it as a
Nucleus.
prokaryotic cell. Right? So the plants are eukaryotic multicellular organisms. They are autotrophs. These are main features of the plant. Everybody knows that. The next is the presence of absence, okay, of the well-differentiated plant body. That is the root, stem, and leaves. Right? It is having the roots. Okay, the root system is present and the shoot system is present. But it is not necessary that it will be present in all the groups of the plants. Right? The next one, the plants contain the photosynthetic pigments called the chlorophyll present in the plastids. Now, what are these plastids?
And that gives color to the
Plastids? They are storage organelles. Okay, only storage organelles. Okay, they get colors also. Okay, he has the answer. Yes, they are all. Okay, which are these? Very good. Very good. So plastids are actually the cell organelles which are found only in the plants. Right? And these plastids, they can be of various types. They can be meant for storing the food material like starch or proteins or the lipids, or they can be meant for giving colors to the plants because they are containing the photosynthetic pigments in them. Okay. Now we will be studying about this photosynthetic pigment. Now this chlorophyll is important because it is responsible for the transformation of the light energy into chemical energy. And do you know which chlorophyll pigment is responsible for that? It is chlorophyll A. Right? So it is the chlorophyll A pigment that is responsible for the transformation of the light energy into the chemical energy. And that is why this chlorophyll A should be present in all the divisions of the plants or not?
Yes.
Yes, it should be present in all the different divisions of the plants. Right? So that was the ultimate, you can say, for the kingdom plantae that came into existence for the production of the food by trapping the light energy and transforming into the chemical energy. In what form the chemical energy is present in the plants? We say that the light energy is transformed into the chemical energy. What is this chemical energy then?
ATP and NADPH.
Very good. It's ATP. Okay. So it is the ATP that is the chemical energy. What is the full form of this?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Very good. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay. So that is the chemical energy. Chemical energy, that is the energy currency of the molecule. Now, how is the structure of this chlorophyll molecule? We can see that it is having two important parts. One is the porphyrin ring. This is a porphyrin ring, and this is a phytol chain. Right? Now, this porphyrin ring, can you see at the center which molecule is present? Iron is present. Magnesium. So, without magnesium, there will be no synthesis of the chlorophyll pigment. Right? And here you can see another thing. That here the methyl group is present, then it is chlorophyll A. But if it is replaced by CHO, that is a aldehyde group, it becomes chlorophyll B. Right? So whenever there is change in this group, then the chlorophyll can be of various types. So we have 5 different types of chlorophyll pigments: A, B, C, E, and E, which is present in the different groups of the algae. Does that clear? Okay. Now the next is, along with this chlorophyll pigment, there are different types of pigments. The anthocyanins, which are responsible for the red, blue, and purple. What about the beetroot? The color of the beetroot? Purple. So which pigment will be responsible for the color?
Anthocyanin.
The beta rays. Okay, the beta rays will be responsible. The purplish color will be because of the anthocyanins. Okay, and the yellowish orangish colors will be because of the carotenoids, and the green color will be because of the chlorophyll pigments. Right? And these chlorophyll pigments and all these pigments, they are actually can they be soluble in water? Are they soluble in water? They are not soluble in water. They are soluble in organic solvent. Okay, so all these different types of colors are responsible for the various colors you see in the flowers. Okay, so when the spring season, this is the spring season, so you will be seeing that beautiful different colors of flowers moving around: yellow, red, orange, and so. So that is because of all these photosynthetic pigments which are present in the chloroplast. Okay, and where is the chloroplast? Exactly in the thylakoid. Okay, if you see, open the structure of open the chloroplast, you will find that there are some stacked structures. They are basically the thylakoids. Okay, and in the membrane of the thylakoids, these photosynthetic pigments are present. Is that clear? So this is about the basic features of this.
Chlorophyll A is responsible for converting the light energy into
Yes,
chemical energy.
yes.
Then what are the functions of other chlorophylls?
Okay, we'll come to know what are the functions. Okay, now the next slide. Okay, now we come to the first division, that is the algae. Now you can see what are the basic features of the algae. These are the aquatic organisms which can live both in fresh water, they are found in fresh water as well as marine water. Right? And other than that, they can also be present in the brackish water. What is brackish water? Brackish water? Yes, with the sea water mixes with the river water, the fresh water, that is the brackish water, right? So they are present in brackish waters also. And they can be found in the moist soil, on rocks and other surfaces. Now, algae they have a well-defined body, that means their body is not differentiated into the root or the shoot system. Okay, but they are having the plant body which is not also having any kind of, you can say, the vascular tissues also. Okay, but they have only the parent chimeras, you can see the structure, and that is absorbing water by diffusion from all its parts. Okay, and it doesn't have any specific structure that can be called as a root system, fine, or it can be called as a shoot system. So it is not having a well differentiated plant body. The next is they can be unicellular or they can be multicellular. The next is they can exist as individual cells, colonies, or filamentous structures. So they can be single cell, they can be in the colony, they can be filamentous, or they can be in the form of sheets, which may reach the length of thousands of kilometers. Is that clear? The walls of algae are typically made up of cellulose and pectin, and the algae contain the chlorophyll, the pigment that captures the light for photosynthesis. Now, how do they reproduce? They reproduce by vegetative means, they reproduce by asexual means, and they reproduce by sexual means also. Is there a difference between vegetative and asexual means? What do you mean by vegetative means and asexual?
Ma'am, they reproduce from the parts of like roots, stems,
Ma'am,
leaves.
vegetative is a type of asexual reproduction.
It is a type of asexual reproduction. Okay, see, I give you a rose plant. I tell you that I want another rose plant from this. What will you do with that? Yes, you will simply cut it and put it in the soil, right? And in a few days you will find that the branch or the twig of the rose plant has transformed into a plant. This is vegetative propagation. So the part of plant that can be basically which is meant for the vegetative purpose, that is the root, the stem or the leaves, but we are producing another plant from it, then it is vegetative propagation. But what is asexual means of reproduction? It is basically meant for the, you can say
Ma'am,
that,
where the fusion of gametes doesn't happen.
okay, they are basically responsible for the production of the spores. The spores are produced in this, they will be the ones which will not fuse with each other, but they will produce the organism individually. So they are producing by the spores. The different types of spores are there. And when the gametes are produced and these gametes get fused to form the new structures, then it is called as the sexual reproduction. Right? And under the sexual reproduction also we have the different types here. One is the isogamous, where both the gametes are small in nature and they are flagellated. That is the isogamous. The second one is anisogamous. The male and female, you can see that there is a difference between them. Okay, the female gamete will be slightly bigger in size and the male gamete will be smaller in size. Right? And they both will be flagellated. Okay, and the last one, that is the oogamous. Here the female is immortal. Right? But only the male gamete is motile. What structures can you see over this? What is the structure? By which it's looking like an antenna. What's that antenna? Very good. It's the flagella. Okay. So flagella is present, and that flagella is basically because they are all aquatic in nature. So that is making that can make the gamete move from one place to the other place. Right? So that is why these are the different types of, you can see, the gametes which are present, and on the basis of this we are having the divisions where they can opt or not opt, but they are having the different types of, you can see, the reproduction. Okay, so next one. Okay, now what you see here? Yes, look at the board and tell me what are these?
Chlorophyll.
Yes, they are the different types of.
Chlorophyll.
Yes, the chlorophytes, the chlorophytes. So that is the first division of the algae. Okay, so we are going to study about the three different algae groups. The first one, it is called as the chlorophyceae. The second one, it is called as the rhodophyceae. And third one, it is called as the phaeophyceae. Okay, so we have the green algae, the red algae, and the brown algae. And here we have the first one, that is the green algae. Now, can you see the different shapes here? Okay, so this is the one that is the colonial one. Okay, many smaller cells they come together and forms a colony of the organism. Okay, here we have the filamentous one. Okay, and these are actually the some organisms which are having the huge, you can say, the plant body.
Miss Spirogera is also filamentous.
Yes, Spirogera is also filamentous. You can see unicellular, which is the unicellular one here. The chlamydomonas is a unicellular. You can see the unicellular alga, right? The Spirogera, it is a filamentous multicellular alga. Is that clear? Yes. Next slide. Yes. Now you can see that these are the basic features of these group, that is the chlorophylla. Now chlorophylla, as I have told you, that it is present in the fresh water, okay, and it is also present in the marine water. Okay, so the fresh water algae and the marine water algae, both types of algae are present in this chlorophylla.
And
The green color.
terrestrial also.
Yes, the counter. Okay, now these algae, they are basically having the photosynthetic pigment. Can you tell me which is the photosynthetic pigment present in there? Yes, chlorophyll A and B. Now, what is the use of this chlorophyll A and B? Now, chlorophyll A, it gives the color that is blue-green. And that is why when we talk about the cyanobacteria, it is having the color blue-green. It is because of the chlorophyll A pigment that is present. Right? Chlorophyll B will give that kind of color. It will be somewhat olive green. Okay, so olive green, or you can say somewhat greenish in color. So that is the color that is given by the chlorophyll B pigment. So these two chlorophyll pigments are present in the chlorophyll, that is the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, right? And that is why they appear to be green in color. But cyanobacteria, what kind of chlorophyll pigment will be present in cyanobacteria? Only chlorophyll A, not chlorophyll B. Very good. Okay, the next is the cell walls. They are okay. The other pigments which are present, they are beta carotene, that is basically the carotenoids, which can be the beta carotene and the xanthophyll. So beta carotene gives the orangish color to it, and whereas xanthophyll gives the yellowish color. So what is the color of the mango? So what is responsible for the yellow color of the mango? And carrots? Carotene. So carotene is giving orange color to the carrot, and whereas the xanthophylls, they are giving yellow color to the mango. Is that clear? Now the next is, now it is having the cell wall that is composed of cellulose. Right? What is cellulose? Yes, Siddharth, what is cellulose? Siddharth, what is cellulose? Tell me. Anybody who can tell me what cellulose is? Yes.
Ma'am, it is a polysaccharide.
Very good. It's a polysaccharide. What do you mean by polysaccharide? Chain of glucose. Okay. So actually polysaccharide, it means it is having the small units, which is basically the saccharides, the sugar units. Okay. And when they come together, they form a complex type of compound, and that is the polysaccharide. So cellulose is a polysaccharide, and that is present in the cell wall. And that is why the cell wall is so rigid, because the plants, they cannot move from one place to the other as we have the skeletal system. Okay, it is protecting our internal organs. Plants, they don't have any skeletal system, they have cellulose.
Ma'am, it is also a type of protein that is present in plants.
No, it is not. Cellulose is not a protein, children. It is a carbohydrate, that is polysaccharide. Okay, so that is the polysaccharide that is basically giving a rigid shape to the cell, and also it is meant for protecting the cell. Is that clear? So that is the polysaccharide. The next is the green. They have the flagella for movement. So they have the flagella. I already told you what flagellum is. It is the hair-like structure that is basically meant for locomotion. Is that clear? The next is they can reproduce both asexually and sexually. So asexually by fragmentation. If the particular part is fragmented, it can grow independently into a complete plant. Right? So that is fragmentation. And it can also produce asexually and sexually. So that means it can produce vegetatively. It can produce asexually by the different types of spores which can be seen. And it is also producing by sexual means. Okay, and which type of sexual means it will be having all the three: isogamous, an isogamous, and very good. Okay, the next is, these are the examples of the various types of green algae. So you have the terrestrial algae that grows in moist soil, walls, and rocks. Fritzschella is the example. The next is epiphytes. Epi means which grows on the surface. Phytes means it grows on the surface of the other plants, not for nutrition, only for growth. If they are growing for the nutrition, what do we call them? Very good. They are the parasites then. Okay? But they are not growing on the other plants for the nutrition. But they are growing only for, you can say, maybe in the forest or maybe in what you call the smaller plants that don't get the sunlight, enough sunlight. So that is what happens, it starts growing on the other plants to just get the sunlight. So that is epiphyte. Fine. So they can be epiphytes like Trendophilia and Protococcus. The endophytes, what do you mean by endo? Inside the plants which grow inside what? The coleochaete nightula and inside the thallus of nightula. So these two are the different types of plants. The next is epizoic. Epi means and zoic.
On the animal.
Very good. On the animals. Zoic it means zoology. Okay, zoic that is on the animal. So that is the Platypora and the Caria on mollusk, shell and crustaceans respectively. The endozoa inside the animals. And here we have the zooxanthellae that grows inside the sponges and the chlorella in the body of the hydra. What is hydra? Have you heard about hydra? Tell me what is hydra?
Plant under.
Plants?
No, no, plant.
Ma'am, it reproduces asexually by
But what is
sperm.
it? Very good. It's the invertebrate. Okay? It's the invertebrate that is animal. Okay? And inside the hydra, it grows. Understood? The next is the cryophytes. Cryo means cryopreservation. What is cryopreservation?
Preservation under.
Yes, preservation under cold temperature. So cryopreservation, so that is cryo means cooler, phytes means in the polar region. And that is the Chlamydomonas nivalis. Then we have the red snowball, the thermophilic. Thermo is heat. Okay, so thermophile, it grows in hot springs, that is the chlorella. The parasitic growing is pathogens causing diseases, cephaloros. You know cephaloros, it is parasitic to the tea plantation. Okay, so the tea plantation can get affected by this particular algae, that is the cephaloros. The next is the parasitic, okay, the symbiotes. What do you mean by symbiote? Yes, the symbiotic relationship, that means the two are having mutual relationship, right? And here we have the lichens. Did you see lichen? Have you seen lichen? Where? On trees. On rocks. Have you seen them? You have heard about it, that they grow on rocks and they can grow on the trees. Okay? So these lichens, you ask your mother what lichen is. Your mother will take you to the kitchen and she will give you the lichen. She prepares the various dishes.
Ma'am, it is a symbiotic relation between algae and
Very good.
fungi.
It is a symbiotic relationship between the algae and the fungus. Okay, so we have different types of lichens which can be, which grows on the various surfaces, and these lichens they play an important role. You know why? Because these lichens are supposed to be yes, they are the indicators of pollution, and also these lichens they are responsible for the soil formation, that is called as biogenesis, along with bryophytes. Okay, so these are the various, you can say, the features of the
Ma'am,
bee
from
plant.
them litmus paper is also
Exactly. The litmus paper. Why do we use the litmus paper?
to check an acid and
Yes,
base.
it is the acid and base indication of the acid and base. So that is the litmus paper. Now I passed you some papers. Okay. Did you see them? Any one of you who can relate the picture with what I am teaching right now? Anybody who is having a picture on the basis of the features that I have explained to you, can you just tell me? Now, usko please khada mat karna. I need to take it back. Very good, very good. Get it. So we have a picture here that is this. Okay. So here we have, these are the plants which are basically the plants which are the green algae. But here I can see that one of them is not a green algae. Which one?
Ma'am,
Which one of these is not a green algae?
That's
The
third.
third one.
It is a
What
weed.
it? Okay, this step.
Paramecium.
Is it paramecium? Okay, fine. What is paramecium? So the next step. Okay, now this is the second group. That is the phaeophyce. What do you mean by phaeophyce? Phaeophyce is the brown algae. And how do we get the brown color? Okay, let's see. Now can you see the various examples which are written here? Ectocarpus, Talopteris, Titania, Laminaria, Deslantia, Castalia, Sporopnus, Diclota, and Sargassum. The Sargassum is very important. Have you heard about the Sargasso Sea? Have you heard about the Sargasso Sea? सुना है Sargasso Sea कहाँ पर है? नहीं सुना? Okay, आज एड्रेस में ढूंढ के आना. Where is the Sargasso Sea? That Sargasso Sea has got its name from this algae that is Sargassum. Okay, now let us study about the characteristic features of the Sargassum. Okay, so they are also present in the marine environment and very few will be present in the fresh water. Okay, and they are especially in the cold coastal waters and they may be free floating or attached to the seabed. Fine, they are of the different sizes, they are of the different shapes, right? But they are not unicellular. Okay, the brown algae are not unicellular, they are multicellular, right? And they can grow into meters to long giant kelps which can grow up to more than 100 meters. Okay, it is not only 100 meters, more than 100 meters. Okay, so they are called as the kelps, right? The sea bees. Have you heard about the bee? What is a bee?
Unwanted.
Unwanted plant. But we have in the water also there are certain sea bees which are present, and they are basically the brown algae, the kelps. Okay. Now in the first part, that is the green algae, did I tell you that do they have something that can anchor into the substratum? The structure that anchors the plant body to the substratum. What can be present in the algae that anchors it to the substratum? Very good. It is a holdfast. Okay, the holdfast is a structure that is meant for anchoring the plant body to the substratum. And these kelps, most of them, they will be having the holdfast. Okay, and the upper part which is present, which looks like the leaf, it is called as the frond. Okay, and the small stalk which is present, it is called as the style. So there is a structure that holds or anchors the plant to the substratum. It is the holdfast. A small stalk that looks similar to a stem, that is a style, and the upper body which is looking like the leaf. It is the frond, okay, or the lamina. Is that clear? So these are the three parts into which we can divide the body of this particular plant. Right? Now we have here again the cell wall is two layer that is made up of cellulose that is providing the strength. Now can you see the chlorophyll which is present here?
A and C.
A and C. Okay, there are two pigments A and C. How does it differ from the green algae now? What green algae had earlier?
Ma'am, it has chlorophyll A, but it has.
Okay, but now here it is having the chlorophyll A and C. Substrate. What is substrate? Okay, this is the surface. Okay, the soil surface you see in the garden, that is meant for the roots. They anchor themselves in that. Okay, but in the sea they are having the bed of the sea. Okay, where the plants get anchored. So we call it as substrate. Okay, is that clear? So that is substratum. Now here we have the chlorophyll A and C, right? So this C is going to give which color? Yellowish color. Okay, yellowish, olive green, yellowish color. Is that clear? Okay, and then apart from that, it is also having the carotenoids and xanthophylls, but fucoxanthin. Okay, fucoxanthin is the pigment that gives it the brown color. Fucoxanthin. Okay, and then they are having the alternations of generations. Now, what is alternations of generations? Right? Now, I ask you, how many number of chromosomes do you have in your body? In 46. 46 what? 46 Okay, now your body is having the diploid cells, right? Except for the reproductive cells, which will be the gametes, they are going to be haploid. But now most of these organisms, the lower organisms, they are having a dominant phase, where the dominant phase is haploid. Okay, and that is called as gametophytic phase, right? And there are organisms which are having the plant body which is diploid, and that is called as the sporophytic phase. So when these two alter with each other and both are a part of their life cycle, then we call it as alternations of generations. Is that clear? Now these are the various examples. The ectocarpus, they are epiphytic brown algae. Just now I told you what epiphytic is. The fucus, they are typically found attached to the rocks. The sargassum is known for being free floating. The kelp, it is a part of the order laminates, capable of growing up to 100 meters long. The macrocystis is a type of giant kelp that forms the extensive underwater forests. The Neurocystis, another variety of giant kelp, and Ascophylum, known species of brown algae. Eutralia, Antarctica, a specific type of brown algae. It is found in Antarctica. Right? So these are the various characteristic features of the brown algae. So what is the name of the group called for the group for the brown algae known as Phyophyta or Theophyce. Right? Okay, so next. Okay, the last group here. This is
Rhodophyte.
rhodophyte. That is the red algae. You know that red algae is of great economic importance, and one important feature I forgot to tell you about the brown algae. What would be that important feature of the brown algae? Anybody think can tell? Very good. It is used as food. Okay, the sushi that you eat, that is having the wrap. Sushi to sabko pata hai. Okay, so जिस sushi खाने जाते हैं वे तो उसमें जो wrap रहता है, that is actually of the brown algae. Okay, and one more important thing, it is a source of iodine also. Okay, the laminaria is the source of iodine, right? The red algae, now so many are there. Can you just read out the names? Yes, first one, second one,
Thoria.
third one,
Galidium.
fourth
Valina.
one, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Anything that you find very commonly called? Okay, selenium. Fine. Why the selenium is important? Selenium is important for? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll tell you. And something else here? Where is that picture I just now showed to you? अब इसमें देखो C जो था, that is 4-5. Okay, the C here is 4-5. Okay, that is the red algae. It's fine. Okay, the next one. Okay, next slide, sir. Now these are the features of the red algae. Fine. Now you can see that the red algae is the one whose slide is there. Yes. Now can you see this? The comparator study which is given here. Okay, we can see here now the chlorophyll pigments which are present in the three different groups. The first one is having A and B. Second is having A and C. Very good. And the third is A and D. Very good. The accessory pigments which are present.
Catechinoids.
Very good. The next.
Leukocytes.
The next. Yes, phycobilins, which is composed of red pigment. Now this red algae gets the red color because of pigment that is phycobilins. Okay, phycocyanin and phycocyanin, that is phycobilins and phycoerythrin. So phycoerythrin is responsible for the red color. How do corals get the red color? How do corals get the red color?
Due to this pigment.
Due to
Presence of phycobilin.
okay. Yes, why do corals get the red color? You think and tell. Okay. The next is the stored food is in green algae it is starch, brown it is mannitol and laminated, and the red algae has a chlorinian starch. Right? Then the plant body you can see that it is unique, multi, and multi. Sexual reproduction, yes. The green plants they have all three different types. But what about the red and brown? also having one of them that will be in water. That is the female camel. Right? The next one, nature of flagellum. See, there is difference in the attachment of the flagellum also. Okay? Here you can see that the flagellum is adhered or it is present on the terminal position, whereas in the second one it is present on the lateral position. Okay? And the cell wall material also differs. The first one is having cellulose and pectin. The second one it is having the cellulose and another component which is very important. It is called as angin. That is basically the glue that we get from. Okay, so it is a kind of glue that these particular type of group of bacteria produce. And the third is the inner cellulose, the outer pectin, and also polysaccharide yeast. Right? So next. Okay, now let us keep writing. The essential pigment. Which is the essential pigment? Chlorophyll? So just keep. Yes. The largest algal species. Very good. The care. Which one? It is the Macrocystis spirifera. The algae which is used as food in space or the
Brown
space
algae.
food.
Brown algae.
Brown algae. इतना बड़ा brown algae को स्पेस में लेके जाएंगे. कौन सा algae हो सकता है? Laminated brown algae. Yes. सुशी वाला brown algae. फूड के लिए अच्छा brown इतना बड़ा algae को स्पेस में लेके जाएंगे. Okay, fine. चलो देखते हैं कुछ बात. It is a chlorella. Okay, the chlorella, the unicellular alga, and it is also having the ability to produce the oxygen. Fine. And along with this chlorella, we also have spirulina. Have you heard about spirulina? It is a cyanobacteria. So that can also be taken. It is a space food, right? The sexual reproduction.
Anisogamy and oogamy.
Only anisogamy and oogamous. Yes, all the three. Okay. The shape of chloroplast and chlamydia. Did you check how the chlamydomonas chloroplast?
Like a
was?
mouse.
Like a spider. Why does the spider get its name from?
Spiral shape.
The spiral-shaped chloroplast. This chlamydomonas is having a cup-shaped chloroplast. Okay, so the cup-shaped chloroplast is there. So I hope this is clear to everybody. Moving to the next division. The bryophytes. Can you see the bryophytes here? When do you notice them the maximum? In which particular season? Very good. The rainy season. Everywhere it will be green. Okay, that's because of the bryophytes. Okay, so these are the characteristic features of the bryophytes. I told you that they are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why they are called as amphibians of plant kingdom? It is because although they are growing on the land, they are terrestrial in nature. Okay, they can be considered as the first terrestrial plants. That's the bryophyta. Okay, now these bryophyta they need water for what? For completion of their life cycle. Right? To complete their life cycle, they need water because their gametes need water, which can fuse only in water. Right? So, how many different types of groups can you see here? 3. Okay. So, first one it is called as the lever bird. The second it is called as the anthracirod, okay, or the horned birds, and the third one it is called as the moss. Right? So, these are the 3 different categories of the bryophytes. Right? Now these bryophytes, they are actually having the plant body which is going prostrate over the soil. If you see the lever birds, they are going prostrate over the soil. Okay, that means they are not having a well differentiated plant body, but they are having the undifferentiated, you can say the structure, the leafy structure, and it is adhered to the soil by the small, thin, you can say the structures which are called as the, what they will be called as hair-like structures, which are very good. The rhizoids. Okay, in algae what did we study?
Flagellum.
No. In algae what was the structure that adhered to the substratum? Holdfast. Now what do we have here? Very good, the rhizoids. These rhizoids they can be unicellular as in the case of the liverworts, body and fissurals. Okay, but in the case of mosses it will be multicellular. Right? And in the case of moss, you can see that the plant body is erect. Whereas in the case of liverworts and the anthracirrhoids, they are growing parallel to the surface of the soil. Fine, just like a rosette. Fine. The way they reproduce it can be vegetative means, that is by fragmentation, or there are small special structures which are called as the gametophytes, which are growing over the dorsal surface of the plant. And in these gametophytes, there are small structures, the gamete, which are basically the buds. So wherever the buds fall, they will develop into the plant. So that is the way the vegetative propagation is taking place. And otherwise, it can be fragmentation also. Okay. Now, in the case of the plants, these plants, the gametophytic generation is dominant over the sporophytic generation. What do you mean by that? What is gametophyte? What do you can understand from the gametophyte word? The gamete producing stage. Okay, that is called as gametophyte. And what is the sporophyte? The spore producing stage. Okay, so the gamete producing stage, how the gametes should be? Diploid or haploid?
Haploid.
Yes, they should be haploid. So these gametes, which are basically the haploid ones, they should be produced from the gametophytes. Okay, so this gametophytic generation, in the case of the bryophytes, it is dominant. Okay, and the sporophytic generation is basically dependent on the gametophytic generation. Is that clear? So the sporophyte is a spore producing, it should be diploid. Okay, because the gametes, when they fuse, they form the structure that is called as the sporophyte. Okay, and these sporophytes, they are undergoing now which type of division? How many types of divisions are there?
Meiosis and meiosis.
Very good. Mitosis and meiosis. Do you know the difference between the two?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, very good. What is mitosis? Yes, the parent or the mother cell divides into two equal daughter cells with the same chromosome number or the different chromosome number. Very good. And meiosis?
They will have
Half the chromosome number, right? So when the gametes are formed, they are formed by mitotic division here, right? They fuse to form the sporophyte. The sporophyte is actually responsible for the production of the spores. So which is the kind of division it will undergo? Very good. The meiosis and the spores are formed. And these spores then they fall and they form the new gametophyte. So what is this? The gametophyte forming the sporophyte and the sporophyte forming the gametophyte. So next one. The next. Can you see this? Can you see this? Okay. So what I told you that the gametophyte, here we have the gametophyte. Okay. That produces the, what are these structures? The male and the female gametophytes. Okay. The antherium and the archegonium. They produces the gametes, which fuses and forms the, what you call, the zygote and then the sporophyte. Can you see the sporophyte which is attached to this? And that sporophyte is dependent completely on the gametophyte. The gametophyte is formed again by the meiotic division that takes place in the sporophyte, and then it results in the formation of the gametophyte. So this cycle it keeps on going. So that is why this is called as alternation of generations. So two important generations are there. Which are they? The two generations. One is diploid.
haploid.
डिप्लॉयड का नाम क्या है? Very good. Sporophyte. And haploid का क्या नाम है? Can you see that clearly in this picture? Can you see this? Okay. What I was talking to you about the gamma cups. Can you see this picture at the top? All the cup-like structures, they are the gamma cups, in which the small gamete are present. Okay. Now, how many of you have got something similar to this? Anybody who got the picture which is similar to this? है किसी के पास? किसी के पास भी नहीं है? So इसके पहले वाला slide दिखाइए. Okay, can you see the three different groups here? Okay, what are mosses? What are mosses? Liverbirds and hornbirds. Okay, they are having somewhat similar, you can say the gametophyte, which is growing parallel to the surface of the soil. The moss, it grows erect, right? Its upper body it is similar to the plant body, which is having the leafy, you can say the structure structure is present over it. Okay, and the lower part that produces the root-like structure, which are called as the rhizoids, that anchors the plant to the soil. Okay, how the rhizoids of the moss should be, because it is erect, it should be multicellular. And how the rhizoids of the structure, which are parallel, growing parallel to the surface of the soil, they should be. They are unicellular. Okay, so unicellular is present in the lower group, that is the lever bird and the horn bird, and the upright structures, which are called as mosses, they are having the rhizoids, which will be multicellular, and their sporophytes are growing over it. Show me a picture what you have got. Yes. Yes. Now this is actually the one structure that is present here. This is the moss that is having the sporophytes growing over it. किसको मिला ये picture और? किसी को भी नहीं मिला? You get this? Yes. Yes. You can pass it on. Please pass it to everyone. So this is the picture that is of the moss that is having the sporophytes growing over it. Can you see this? Fine. So this is actually the type of rhizophyte. And now just tell me why they are called as the empty phase of the plant media. Yes, because they need it for the completion of the life cycle, because they need water for the fusion of the gametes. Okay, next one. Yes. Now this is the endospore that looks like the lever bird, but it is having a sporangia. Okay, that is very, very long. Next slide. This is a moss. Can you see it on the right, on the left side? That is a moss. Okay, so this moss, actually I wanted to put a picture that was taken here in Ashwati Nagar only. That was taken near the hospital gate, right? Where the plant was completely covered by the moss. The trunk of the plant was completely covered by the moss. Okay, so during rainy season you will find them growing everywhere. Next. Okay, the peat moss. Anybody who knows what peat moss is? Example of peat moss. What is peat actually? Form of coal. Okay? Yes. It is a type of, yes. Anybody who knows the answer for this? The peat moss or the bog moss? The moss stick? Have you heard about the moss stick? नहीं सुना? घर में plants नहीं grow करते आप लोग? कोई भी नहीं grow करता? करते हैं। मनी प्लांट के लिए जो बीच के सेंटर में मॉस स्टिक रखा जाता है वो क्या है? मालूम है? देखा है? वो ये है स्पैगनेट. Sphagnum is the peat moss. Okay, so it is having the absorbent property, right? Because there are phycocolloids which are present in the cell wall, they are able to retain the water, and that is why it can be used for transporting the various plant material from one place to the other place. Right? Now, what do we use in the various packaging materials? We have to transport the delicate things, the bubble wrap. Okay, so in place of that, we can use the sphagnum. Okay, and it is also used for the mouse stick for the growth of the plant. The next, in mosses, meiosis takes place during. When the meiosis will take place? In the sporophytic or the gametophytic generation?
Sporophytic.
Yes, the capsule. Okay, the spore formation. Plants like ferns and mosses which produce spores are grouped under ferns and mosses. Did I teach you ferns? No. Very good. Cryptogamy. Female sex organs in bryophytes are named as yes, it is the archegònia. The gamete are club-like structures present in
Chlamydomonas.
Chlamydomonas का अर्थ देखा. अभी तो मैंने कुछ और पढ़ा है. Bryophytes में कौन सा ग्रुप? Moss? Yes, lever birds. Very good. It is the lever bird, and that lever bird is Margantia. I showed you the picture. Lever bird, the Margantia. Fine. So these two groups are clear. Clear to you? We are moving to the higher category. That is the third type of cryptogam, and that is the pteridophyta. Can you see this pteridophyta? Okay. Now come to the next slide, sir. The characteristic features. Now these are the plant bodies which are having the plants which is differentiated into the root, stem and the leaves. Okay, the roots are also present, the stem is also present and the leaves are also present. If the root, stem and leaves are present, so what do they have inside? And they are completely terrestrial in nature. Very good. They are considered to be the first vascular plants. Okay, the pteridophytes, they are considered to be the first vascular plants and they are terrestrial in nature. So they are having the roots for anchoring the plant to the soil. They are having the stem and to the stem they are having the whorls. They are the leaf or the fronds which are present over the stem. Okay, but what type of stem do they have? They have mostly the underground type of stem. Okay, the underground stem. Have you heard about the underground stem? What is underground stem? Give me an example.
Potato.
Yes, potato is a tuber which is an underground stem. Right? So the same way, what about ginger? Yes, ginger is an underground stem. Is potato and ginger look they look like similar to each other? No, what is the difference between ginger and potato? Rhizome. Ginger is a rhizome that grows horizontally. Okay, whereas potato it is a tuber, it grows somewhat spherical. So they have underground stem that is a rhizome. Okay, and what happens when they have to reproduce? During the reproduction, you can see that here. Can you see this picture? This one. Okay, this is on the back side of the leaflets. Okay, so what type of when I'm talking about leaflet, have you seen a mango leaf? Yes. Have you seen the leaf of Gulmohar tree? Everybody is aware of Gulmohar tree or neem tree?
Yes.
Yes. How are the leaves in the neem tree?
Short and
They are small. Okay. But the complete leaf is divided into smaller units. Right? That is called as pinnate compound. So they have pinnate compound. Can you see that? And on the back side of the leaf, when they come under the reproductive phase, they will start developing these brown spots. They are called as sora. Okay, and inside the sora, they will be having the structures which are called as sporangia, and these sporangia will be bearing the spores. Understood? So what are these structures? They are sora. They will be bearing sporangia, and they will be bearing spores. Okay, now these spores, how are they produced? By mitosis or meiosis? Very good, meiosis. But they are born on this plant. Then what is this plant? A sporophyte or gametophyte?
Chlorophyll.
Yes, the plant is now sporophyte. Okay, so this sporophyte it bears the sporangia, and then this plant is going to bear the spores, and the spores will fall and they will form a structure which is a gametophyte. Okay, can you see the structure here? The gametophyte. So this gametophyte is independent of the sporophyte. How was the gametophyte in the case and sporophyte in the case of the bryophytes? Yes, the sporophyte is attached to the gametophyte in the bryophyte, but here the sporophyte is independent of the gametophyte, right? And you can see that this gametophyte, which is heart-shaped structure, which is called as prothallus. What is the gametophyte called here? Prothallus. And this prothallus, it is actually responsible for the production of the archegonia and the amphilia. Okay, that produces the male gametes. Right? So it will be going near the bottom, but we don't call it as amphilia. It is not amphibian because the sporophyte can survive without water also. But bryophytes they cannot survive without water. Okay? And for reproductive phase they need water. That is for the fusion of the gametes. Is that clear? So what is the structure? The gametophyte is called as prothallus. Okay? Fine. Next slide. Okay, these are the four different groups: Psilopsida, Dicospida. So you can see that how they differ from each other. The Psilopsida, they're actually having the xylota, which is called as the bisque fern. This is the picture of the xylota. The Lycopsida, they are called as the club mosses. Okay. Now, when the particular spori develops behind the leaf, okay, the leaf will be called as chlorophyll. Okay, so when the small sporite develops behind the leaf, we call it as sporophyll. Okay, unfortunately, you're coming in such a season that I can't show you the bryophyte also, I can't show you the pteridophyte also. Okay, so only the pictures I can show you and then you can understand. Okay, so here we have Selaginella and the Lycopodium, which are called as the spike moss and the club moss. Although they are pteridophytes, but they are called as mosses. Fine. And the next is Phylloxera, which are commonly referred to as the horse tails because their appearance is just like a horse tail, right? The next is the Eropsida, they are the ferns. These ferns you will find growing in the rainy season, and one of them is also called as a walking fern. Okay, the Adiantum is a walking fern, and it is also called as a maiden hair fern. Right? Now, why it is called as maiden hair? If you see the leaves of this particular plant, it appears to be very delicate. Okay, so that is why it is called as the maiden hair fern. Right? Now, just now I told you what is a sporophyll. When the sporite develops behind the leaf, it becomes sporophyll. And in some cases, in the higher categories of the ferns, these sporophylls will form a compact structure. Okay, and that compact structure is called as the strobilus. Is that clear? So strobilus is the compact structure which is formed by the sporophylls. Is that clear? Okay. The next slide, sir. So this is the life cycle of the pteridophyta. So which phase is dominant here in the pteridophytes now? Yes, which phase from this diagram you say that is dominant? Yes, very good. And in the case of bryophyte, it was very good. So in the pteridophytes, the dominant phase is the sporophyte. Okay, but in the case of bryophyta, it was gametophyte. Okay, but now here the sporophyte is responsible. It is having the dominant phase, that means it grows for a long period of time and then it produces a gametophyte. But that gametophyte is not attached to the sporophyte, it is independent. What is the name of that gametophyte? Prothallus. Okay, it is a prothallus that is responsible for the production of the gametes. Is that clear? Okay. So this is the alteration of generations. Fine. Next, the maiden hair fern. It is a maiden hair fern. Very good. The adiantum. What is the other name for adiantum? The walking fern. The gametophytic phase in fern. What is the name of the gametophytic phase in the fern? Very good. The prothallus. Okay, the most important feature here, right? I just forgot to tell you that the xylem and the phloem which are present here, but the higher cells of the xylem and phloem, they are absent in them. Okay, suppose they have, are you aware of the different types of xylem and phloem cells? Which are very good. Very good. See, the xylem is having different elements. Okay, one is proteins, the other one is vessels. Okay, the parenchyma, that is xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Okay, the proteins are present, the parenchyma is present, and fibers they may be present in the lower group, but the vessels are present only in the higher groups. Okay, similarly, the phloem, which is meant for conducting the food material, right? Now this phloem, they will be having the seed cells, they will be having the seed tubes, the companion cells, it is only formed along with the seed tubes, right? And then the parenchyma and the fibers. Okay. Now, but the higher groups will be having all these. Okay, but the lower groups will be not having the companion cells as well as the seed tubes in the case of phloem. And in the case of xylem, the vessels will be lacking. So what will be without? Very good, the companion cells. A factor is thought to be important in the formation of seed habit. Okay, so there are two different types of spores which are formed here, right? One is the homospore and the other one is heterospores. Homospores, it means that the same type of spores are present, same size, right? But the heterospores, different types. So that is actually the one that has resulted in the seed formation. So that is the heterospore. Which group of technophytes includes fossils examples up to 40 meters tall? This is four groups are there. Which are the four groups? Very good. Spinospida and Pteropsida. Out of that, which one will be? It is the Lycopsida. Okay, so lycopods. Aquatic fern used in rice fields as seed. Ferns are basically terrestrial, right? But there are certain ferns which can grow in water, right? And there are two examples. One is Cabinia, and the other one is the Azolla. Okay, the Azolla is used as a biofertilizer in the rice field. Okay, why Azolla can be used as a biofertilizer in the rice field? It is a biofertilizer. Have you heard about biofertilizers? What are they? What is a fertilizer? Okay. Yes, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, but naturally when it is provided, that is the nitrogen is the most important. So they are having the nitrogen fixing bacteria. That is a sign of bacteria present. That is the enemy, and that is why it is used as a biofertilizer. Right? This is the group that is the gymnosperms. Now, what is the peculiar feature that you see here?
Pointed.
Yes, the naked seeds. Okay, so these are the organisms. Now, just tell me, we have entered into the new category of the group, organisms. Okay, what is this now? Phanerogams, right? Now, these phanerogams, they are basically what? They are seed producing. Okay, and now you will see that in these gymnosperms, we will be studying about the various different and interesting kinds of plants. Okay, so what structures you had seen here? Okay, the structures that you had observed here, they are actually called as the Strobilus or the core. Okay, that feature we have seen in the higher category of the dendrophytes, which is still present here. And what we will be seeing in the next row, that is the angiosperms, will be a flower. Okay. Okay, so these are the basic features of the gymnosperms. Now I just want the sheets that I have given to you. Okay, just yes. Now in this particular picture, everybody is able to see what is this? It is a flower. Okay, this flower is actually the structure which is responsible for yes. What is this flower in a plant? In which particular group of plants you will find the flower? Angiosperm. And what is this? Gymnosperm? Is this gymnosperm sure? What is this? Do they have some similar function? Do they have some similar function? Yes or no? Yes, you are right. This is a Strobilus or the cone. A section of Strobilus or cone that is seen here. Okay. Now, what is the function of the flower? That is to attract the pollinators, right? But in this, can you see that will this attract the pollinator? So, what kind of pollination can be seen in this? Self-pollination. Yes. This is not completely a female and male. It is not bisexual. It is unisexual. This is bisexual. Cross-pollination. Cross-pollination by? Cross-pollination by? Very good, the wind. Okay? Because it is not having attractive part here, right? And this attractive part is seen in this flower. Okay, so this flower, it is basically having the petals to attract the pollinators. So it can attract the birds, it can attract the insects. But can it attract the birds and insects, the biotic agents? No. What it is going to attract? Abiotic, that is a wind. So the pollination here, it will be by wind. Okay, and the pollination here, it can be by wind or it can be by, yes, it can be by the insects, okay, or the birds. Now this is gymnosperm and this is angiosperm. What about these two? Can you see this? Who has got this picture? You have? Okay, fine. So tell me, what is it? These two. Fireworks लग रहा है? Okay, very good. So these are the natural fireworks, which are basically the red algae. Okay, the red algae shows the fireworks in water, according to him. Okay, so these are the red algae which are growing in water. And what is this? The next structure which is present here. Is that a green algae? Or can you see that some other structure which is present? Sir, आवाज नहीं आ रही. Okay, what about this? And this is very good. So do they belong to the same group? Algae. So out of all these two belong to the same group, right? What about these two? This is a cyanobacteria. Okay, and the structures which are highlighted here, they are the heterocysts. Okay, so these are the heterocysts. They are basically meant for nitrogen fixation. Fine. And here we have the red algae that gets the color from which pigment is responsible for the red color? Very good. Chlorophyll A and B. Okay. So that is why. And these two are belonging to the groups which is gymnosperm and the angiosperms. Very good. Another picture. किसका था ये?
Ma'am, इधर.
Okay. Sorry. Yes. What about that? Can you see this picture? Yes. Now all these plants, do they belong to the same group? Do they belong to the same group? Yes, tell me. What is the difference between them? Third one is? Okay. Yes, but the other group that I am talking about is the picture which is given at the top. Who is having a picture of this? What about this? Anything? Okay, all these are they bryophytes? I can see something elongated roots. Are they bryophytes? They are pteridophytes. So when you have very good root system, which is elongated root system, it will be present in fine. But aquatic or terrestrial? It will be aquatic. Yes, it is aquatic. Which one? Which example did I give you for aquatic form? And Azolla and Salvinia. This is Salvinia. Okay. This one is Lycopodium. Can you see the small leaves present over it? Can you observe the leaves of this? These leaves are small, so we call them as microsporophylls. Okay. And the leaves which are bigger, they will be called as megasporophylls. But these mega and microsporophylls, they are actually related to the production of the gametes also. The microsporophyll, they are basically meant for the production of the male gametes, and the megasporophyll will be for the production of the female gametes. Right? And here, what is this?
And which one?
So can you just take? Anywhere can you find this?
Ginkgo biloba.
Yes. Ginkgo biloba. It is actually the only living fossil. What is the living fossil? What is living fossil?
A fossil that is
A fossil which is living fossil. Very old plant. Very good. The plant which is not changed at all since many years. So that is a living fossil. So Ginkgo biloba is a living fossil. You can see the leaves are similar to some other plant also. Give me another sheet. Just give me that sheet. No, not this one. Just show me the sheets. Raise your hand with the sheet. I just want to see one. Yes, get it here. See. Here. We have, can you see this? Yes, that one. Can you see this? Here we have two different plants which are having the same kind of leaves. One is the adiantum, which is called as the maiden hair fern, and here we have the ginkgo, which is called as the maiden hair tree, because the leaves are similar with each other. They are similar to each other, and here we have the delicate kind of leaves. Is that clear? So ginkgo's leaves are similar, somewhat similar to the adianthus. So that is why it is called as maiden hair fern, and this is called as the maiden hair tree. Fine. Now the next one is, okay. Can you see these two? Yeah, right. What is this and what is this? Cycus and? Okay, very good. This is cycus. Fine. What is cycus? It is a gymnosperm. Very good. The cycas is a gymnosperm. So gymnosperms, they are again terrestrial plants, and these plants, they are having, some of them they will be having the stem which is not branched, and some of them they will be having the stem which is branched. So cycas is a plant which is actually not having the branched stem. It looks like a palm tree. Okay, and what is this here? What is this here? It is a palm tree. Okay, so this is, palm trees are angiosperms. Okay, coconut, is it a palm tree or not? Coconut palm, yes. Date palm, coconut palm, right? They are all belonging to the palm category of angiosperms, which are basically meant for bearing the fruits, right? The coconut or the date, right? And these plants, they are not having the branched stem. They are monocots. What are monocots? Yes, it is having only one cotyledon which cannot be divided into two. Fine. So that is why it is called as monocot. But can you see this huge monocot? Which are the other monocots that we consume every day? Very good. The rice, the wheat, the maize. Right? So they are all monocots, the category of the angiosperms. Right? And this is the gymnosperm. Okay. Now, what about these two? The first one is? Yes, this one is moss, very good. And this one is? Can you see something growing over the tree? That is a fern. Okay, so here we have the fern and here we have the, yes, the pteridophytes and the bryophytes. Right? Okay, so these two sheets are clear to everybody? Okay, I'll pass it on, you just have a look at this. The other one, I think 2 or 3 more are there. Yes, get me that. Could you identify anything from this? Yes, yes, I'm coming. Okay. Now, can you see something here? Is this visible to you? Yes, I'll come to that later. Fine. Now, can you see some similarity here? Which one is gymnosperm? Which one is gymnosperm here? अच्छा पहला gymnosperm है दूसरा angiosperm है. Fine. Yes, the first one is gymnosperm, second is angiosperm. Is that right? दोनों ही. Okay, he says दोनों ही gymnosperm है. How many of you say that both are gymnosperms? Both are gymnosperms? Yeah. Okay. Both are gymnosperms. You are wrong. This is a fern. This is a pteridophyta. Okay, that is. This one is pteridophyta. Okay, I just now told you the horsetail. What is the name for the horsetail? No. ठीक है. Give me an example. Aqueous. Aqueous stands for aqueous term. EQQUS. Aqueous is very good. Equisitor. Aqueous stands for what? Have you heard this term? Aqueous? Yes. No, not aqueous.
Not chemical reaction.
Aqueous it means horse. So it looks like horse tail. The plant appears to be like horse tail, that's the aqueous, right? So this is aqueous system. That is a pteridophyte, and this is a gymnosperm. But which gymnosperm can you identify? No, you have not seen this. This is a cycas plant. You can say the cone. Have you heard about the cycas plant? Sabudana खाते हैं सब? हाँ, ये sabudana. Sabudana, everybody has sabudana, right? Do you know from where does the sabudana comes? Actually, earlier days we had the bark of the tree of the cypress plant, okay, and from that we used to get it is called a sago bark, okay. So we used to get sabudana from the bark of the tree, but now it is not done. So we are using something else for making the sabudana nowadays. So this was actually called as the sago bark, that is the cypress, okay, and these are the strobilus or the cones. Fine. Now, do you know that? Can you see these two structures? Any similarity between the two? What is this? Everybody knows that. क्या है ये? ये दिख रहा है?
Mango.
Yes, mango. These are mangoes. And what about this? देखो, मैंगो है ये भी या कुछ और है? फ्रूट के जैसा दिख रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see? Is it a fruit? Here? Yes, Siddharth. Is it a fruit? No. What is it? Just a bouquet. Okay, fine. Now these are the mango fruits, which is actually an angiosperm plant. As I told you, angiosperms are the flowering plants. Okay, but here we have this particular plant that looks like something which is kept in a bouquet form. These are the ovules of the cycas plant. Okay, the ovules of the cycas plant, they are considered to be the largest in the plant kingdom. Where the ovules of the angiosperms will be?
Inside.
Ovules of the angiosperms are present in the very good ovary. But here the ovules are born outside. They don't have any covering. So that is why the seed which is born here, it is also going to be naked. Right? So that is why these are the naked ovules. So they are going to bear the naked seeds. Fine. So now is there any similarity? One is going to bear the seed and one is the fruit that is covering the seed. So one is gymnosperm, one is angiosperm. So these two are cycas plants. This is the male cone, this is the female megasporophyll. Right? So megasporophyll, that is going to bear the ovules over it. Right? The megasporantium and the ovules. Right? And here the cycas, male gametes will be born inside this. So this is the male cone. Right? And this male cone is going to bear what? It is going to bear the male gametes. Right? So what kind of pollination will be there? Because we don't have any attractive structure. So it is going to be wind pollinated. Right? This is this clear to you now? Okay, अब ये बताइए.
Ferns.
दोनों फर्न है? Both are ferns? एक तो करेक्ट है, एक तो फर्न है. कौन सा वाला फर्न है?
Ma'am, left side वाला.
Left side. How many of you say left side वाला फर्न है, right side वाला नहीं है? फर्न यानी pteridophytes. Okay? हाँ, बोलो. Left वाला क्या है? और right वाला?
Gymnosperm.
Gymnosperm. Okay, fine. This is actually the gymnosperm, the leaves of gymnosperm which are needle-like. Okay, because the gymnosperms they grow in the higher altitudes, so the leaves are highly reduced. Right? They are needle-like. And whereas in the case of the pteridophytes, the leaves are again thin and they are smaller in size. Okay, but this is a pteridophyte and this is a gymnosperm. Okay, have you been to Jammu Kashmir?
But it looks
Or
like
have
a
you been to the northeast? Yes, there you will find the plants which are conifers. Okay, so those conifers they are growing at a higher altitude, so that is why the rate of transpiration has to be reduced, and that is why the leaf becomes needle-like. What is the structure that is meant for transpiration? Very good. How the stomata will be in these plants if they have to reduce the rate of transpiration? How the stomata will be in these plants? Growing at a higher altitude to reduce the rate of transpiration, how the stomata will be?
On the trunks of
No, on the leaves only, but they will be sunken stomata. The stomata will be sunken. Clear? Okay, so how many sheets have we finished? I think
Four
three. Three or four? Four sheets. The next slide. Just a minute. Now genera associated with the coralloid roots. Now what do you mean by coralloid? Coralloid का मतलब क्या होता है? Corals के जैसे. Okay. So the plants which are having the coralloid roots, they are basically the cycas plants.
cycles.
Okay. And these cycas plants, they are having the what you call the cyanobacteria associated in the roots, which is basically meant for fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. It is the nostoc associated with the roots. Right? And they appear like corals. What are corals? बोलो corals क्या होते हैं? किसका sheep? Aquatic animals. They are invertebrates. Yes. So these corals they get red color from. My question is unanswered. The corals get the red color from
Are phytoerythrin pigment.
Phytoplankton. Okay, you find out. Okay, find out. It is a homework for you. Right? I'll ask it more. Okay. The next is, I hope this is clear to you. Right. So the answer for this is coralloid roots are present in. Very good. Cycles. A connecting link between the angiosperms and gymnosperms. Which will be the connecting link between the angiosperms and gymnosperms. There are four groups in gymnosperms. Okay? कौन सा group आएगा? The answer. Neta. Okay? Now this Neta is having different types of plants. One is the ephedra. We get ephedrine. Have you heard about ephedrine? What is ephedrine? It is a drug. Okay, ephedrine is a drug that we get from ephedra. And there is another plant which is called as welwitschia. The welwitschia are very small plants, but they grow in desert. Okay, Abhi, I think one sheet is left. Just show me where is that sheet. Who is having the fourth sheet? De do. Get me. Yes, where is it? Okay. Now this is the sheet. Can you see this too?
Yes.
Yes. What is this?
Tree.
Yes, it is a tree. It is tree trunk.
And second is also tree trunk.
Yes, second is also tree trunk. Yes, you are having it. Yes, tell me. Is there a difference between the two?
Ma'am, what is broad and what is wide?
Which is the tallest plant in the world? Redwood tree. Where does it grow? Where is California? Very good. Good. And which is that is considered to be the tallest plant in the world. Okay. And this redwood tree, this is the trunk of the redwood tree. It is so huge that we can make a tunnel through it, and a small car can easily pass across it. Right? So that is considered to be the oldest plant in the world. And it is maybe some thousands of years old these plants are, which are growing in California. Okay? And which is the other plant that you can see here? कौन सा है दूसरा प्लांट कुछ समझ में आ रहा है शायद हाँ बोलो
मैम देखो मैम ये
वाला this one which are these plants I think JC में बहुत सारे plants हैं ये वाले नहीं देखना अभी this is eucalyptus Yes. Anybody guessed it right? Very good. It is the eucalyptus that is the tallest plant in angiosperms. Okay, the tallest plant in the world, more than this eucalyptus, they are the sequoia. Okay, the redwood tree, right? But these are the eucalyptus plants which are the tallest angiosperms, right? So that is why I've taken the tallest of angiosperms and tallest in the world.
When they are grown around the sewage water.
Because they are, yes, they can grow in the land which is, you can say, saline in nature. Very good. What are these two structures now?
Ferns.
No, सब कुछ fern नहीं है. What are these two structures? Yes, tell me. ये नीम लग रहा है? क्या है ये? हाँ, पुराना स्लाइड में था. क्या है ये? Gymnosperm. Very good. Left side is gymnosperm. Very good. And right side क्या है? No, no. देखो ध्यान से देखो. One is gymnosperm, that is correct. But what is this plant? Yes. Anybody? Any guesses? Who is having the other sheet like this? Who has that? हाँ देखो बताओ क्या है. देखो सिद्धार्थ को सिद्धार्थ बताएगा. सिद्धार्थ की questions पूछो. No, not
ये
bryophyte.
bryophyte नहीं.
Yes, बोलो क्या है ये? This is correct. This is a
कुछ तो है वो
gymnosperm.
तो हम लोग को.
Okay, this is the Benthia plant that grows in the desert. Just so I told you, it doesn't grow in much height, but it is having the largest leaves. Okay, this is having the largest leaves. Now, no. Largest leaves is the gymnosperms it is having, not bigger than banana. Okay, what this is an algae. Okay, this is an algae, the brown algae, the kelp. Okay, so you can see that how far they are in the divisions in the plant kingdom, but still they are having something that looks similar. Okay, the frond is similar. What is frond? The leaves are similar. Okay, similar to each other. They look like alike, but they are very, very different from each other because they are having the absorption through the leaves, but they cannot absorb water through leaves because they are growing in the desert region. And what about these two? The last two photographs. Yes? Can you see something that I have taken the picture here? What is it? What is this? Leaves. Very good. The leaves are there. कौन बोल रहा है ये? These are the leaves of angiosperms, right? Now, can you see the difference between the two leaves? Yes. What is the difference?
Ma'am, one is very narrow and one is wide.
Okay, one is broad, one is narrow. Any other difference? Very good. Venation. What is venation? Yes. Now this part is the midrib. That is the particular vascular system. It enters the leaf and then it is called as the midrib. It branches and it forms the veins, right? And the arrangement of these veins, it is called as venation. These are two angiospermic leaves, but one is monocot and the other one is dicot. Right? So what kind of venation can be seen in monocots? It will be parallel venation. But in the case of dicots, it will be network of venation. Okay, the seed, the cotyledons present in the seed in the monocots is 1. But in the dicots, it is 2. Very good. And the kind of roots which are born in the monocots? Fibrous roots. And in the dicots? Very good. Taproot. What kind of flowers do they bear? The monocots, they bear the flower. What kind of flowers they have? The number of petals and sepals in the flower? कितने होते हैं monocots में? Yes, 3. In the multiple of 3. The petals, the sepals, or the other part, they are in the multiple of 3. But in the case of dicots, it is in the multiple of 4 or 5. Right? 4 or 5. Is that clear? And how is the internal structure of the stem? Internal structure of the stem of monocots and dicots. Internal structure of the roots of monocots and dicots. हाँ, वो तो है. अंदर से कैसा स्ट्रक्चर होता है? Anatomy I'm asking. Fine. So let's finish up with the outer layer of the seed. Okay, molar traits are dispersed by gymnosperms. Wing, that is endophyly. हो गया सबका देखिए. The next is wing. The outer layer of seed developed from the integuments of the ovule is known as Yes, it is the seed form. Okay, the next slide. The angiosperms are carving plants. You can see the beautiful angiosperms. These are the characteristic features. Okay. Now they are around 250,000 different species which are known. 8,000 genera and about 450
Ma'am, what is
families.
genera?
Yes.
Genera.
Genera. What is genera? You are asking. Okay. Genera is actually the level which is including different species under. That is a genera. The smallest and the largest angiosperm you can see. Smallest is called Clea. More than that. 120 meters. Okay, the next is the angiosperms can be found shrubs, trees, and climbers. And the most interesting feature, the vascular system. The vascular system, the xylem and the phloem, they are having all the elements. That means the xylem is having the tracheids, the vessels, the xylem fibers, and the xylem parenchyma. Right? And the phloem is having this phloem cells, phloem tubes, parenchyma, fibers, and very good, the companion cells, right? So these are all present only in the angiosperms. Fine, but the vascular plant that is standing, the gymnosperms and the terophytes, they are lacking the higher, you can say the type of the xylem and the phloem. Fine, but rest will be present in both of them. That clear? So these angiosperms are called as the flowering plants because they bear flowers which are basically called as. How do you define a flower? Tell me. How do you define a flower? Okay. The part of the plant that helps in the reproduction, but these plants can also be defined as the modified shoot, highly modified shoot. So wherever you see the sepals, the petals, they are actually the structures which can be the nodal part what you have on the stem. Okay, and from every nodal part of this highly modified stem, you can see the sepals, then you will see the petals, then you see the male reproductive bird that is called as the endoecium, and then the gynoecium at the center. Fine. So this is how you can compare. Is that clear? Fine. So the next slide. So these are the basic structure of the plant of an angiosperm, right? The root system and the shoot system, as we have already discussed in the spot and the dipod. Fine. And here we have the differences. These differences, you can see the cotyledon of the seed, 1 and 2 cotyledons. Right? Then the root is fibrous and the taproot. Flowers, they have the petals in multiple of 3. Here it can be 4 or 5. The leaf is narrow, they have the parallel veins.
And cotyledons, what is cotyledon?
Yes, what is cotyledon? Okay, the very good question. What is cotyledon? We are talking about cotyledon. Mummy rajma banati hai? हाँ. रोज चावल खाते हैं आप लोग? Yes. Now when you cook the grain of rice, it cannot be broken into 2 parts. Can you break it into 2 parts? No. But when you soak chana, gram seed or the moong, the whole moong, the what do you call it? Akka moong जिसे बोलते हैं, right? When you soak it in water or the chana in water, and then you just divide into 2 parts. So those 2 structures, which are 2 related structures, they are called as the cotyledons. Okay. So monocots, they have single cotyledon, that is rice grain that you have, it is single. And when you take the gram, it will be having 2 cotyledons. Fine. Okay. So is the yes. The vascular bundles, you can see the vascular bundles in the stem, they are scattered. The vascular bundles are the xylem and phloem. They are scattered in the stem of the monocots, but in the dipods they are present in a ring-like structure. And the pollen grains, they have only 1 opening, and in the case of angiosperms, they are having 3 openings. Right? So now you have understood why plants are so important to us, because they are the main oxygen producing organisms on the land. Okay, and without this we cannot survive. Okay, so let us pledge to save these beautiful giants, to save us. So when we have the World Environment Day, very good. It is in June, not May. Okay. So in June we have the World Environment Day, and on World Environment Day, all of you take a pledge that you are not going to cut the plants or the trees which are already present. Okay. And you can plant a tree in your vicinity. Thank you so much.
Morning, ma'am. I am Devan Soni from ACS3 Annapurna. I am very happy. I want to say thank you to you because you have taught us one of the most important concepts of biology. These are considered to be difficult, but you taught us this all in an easy way in a very short span of time. And we also learned this very well, ma'am. I also thank you that you have taken time for us to teach us, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, children. Actually, I wanted to show you many live specimens because Anushavali Nagar is full of plants, and when it is rainy season, we really have lot many plants.